YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we got another video here by Chibi Reviews. Great news for the entire manga community and industry. So I wonder what the great news is. Let's do good news for once. No more drama. So let's just check it out. Let's see what's going on. Let's go.
With all the bad news that I've been covering lately when it comes to just credit card companies, censorship, and all sorts of other heaps of issues within the anime and manga industry, today I want to change it up a little. I want to be talking about some good news actually that came out a few days ago that
Unfortunately, there's a lot more bad than good, so that's why you can hear it's been hectic this past season.
Has quietly went under the radar and not a lot of people are talking about, and I feel like more people should be aware because this is a very big step for the entirety of the manga industry, for preservation, and for the future of just the things we love within this industry. So let's get right into it. So basically, this is a official post that was made by Ken a few days ago. If you don't know who Ken is, he was in my video yesterday. He is the mangaka turned politician that has been fighting for, manga community, the manga authors, and everyone for many years.
Whoever Ken is, we stand with you, brother.
Now, he is the author of Love Hina, Negima, and UQ Holder. He's a very well-known individual, basically. He is a industry veteran, and he is someone that knows what he's talking about. He is fighting for what is right, and he has been bringing a lot of attention, not just to, let's say, fighting back against the censorship, the rampant censorship, but also for preservation of everything that is within the industry. So what this post is honestly very heartwarming and gets into some of the stuff that a lot of people might not really be aware of. And that is the degradation of manuscripts and manga and what can be done about that. At first glance, when you read something like this, you might think, what does this mean? How does this affect me? Why is this important? There's a lot of things, or a lot of ways people are going to think to themselves about this situation. But why it's important is because history is deteriorating, so to speak, to put it in very simplistic terms. And so let's give the backstory here. So basically, Ken and a bunch of other people within the industry, a bunch of politicians, and everything within the Japanese government got together to house a meeting, or hold a meeting, so to speak, and basically discuss the preservation of manuscripts that are actually just slowly fading and getting destroyed, or just no longer readable anymore.
That is so good. Preservation of any type of media or art form is very much needed. A lot of things are digital, but as well, there's a kind of like a gap of between the 2000s and the 90s, the early 2000s, and maybe some of the 2010s. We've only just now recently moved to the whole digital era. A lot of manga manuscripts and all of these things have kind of been slowly fading out and kind of not have been preserved properly because of a lot of things. Maybe the company is out of commission, or a lot of factors make the companies or these manuscripts kind of disintegrate or not have non-existence.
And to kind of get some backstory to what a manuscript is, it is basically this. Now, this is a duplicate, obviously, but a manuscript is pretty much like the manga, actual manga panels drawn by the author, the original work and all that, and also the stuff that's released.
This needs to be preserved, especially the official manuscripts. It matters a lot, because this is where the artist creates the manga. So I feel like a lot of manga and a lot of, anime should start doing focus on making sure that these are preserved properly. I guess nowadays, a lot of people are preserving them properly. It's more of the finished product than the original, because you never know. There could be a great story in these. Same thing, with comics.
Shonen Jump and everything, or different magazines. A manuscript is basically the original source when it was put on paper. And the point is that since there is thousands upon hundreds of thousands of different works, obviously there's a lot of manuscripts out there, and you
can imagine this is just for One Piece. You can imagine how many different type of animes are out there. I mean, mangas. There's different type of genres. There's different type of different type of niches. And you can imagine, besides manga, there's manhwa, Korean manga. Damn, that's crazy.
Factor in how old the anime and manga industry is and stuff when it comes to animators making manuscripts to, manga making manuscripts and stuff. There is, like, manuscripts are like 50 to 60 plus years old. And
Imagine.
obviously, anyone that knows how, let's say, paper works, paper
It
degrades.
disintegrates.
It yellows with time. And obviously, that's why we have museums. That's why we have things that hold things and try to safeguard them in a proper storage facility to where they don't deteriorate and they can be looked at and viewed as like a historical monument. Like, you could look at it and be like, whoa, this is the original work of Oda that wrote the first chapter of One Piece. And someone will go to a museum and look at this 100 years from now and be like, that's crazy. I get to actually see this manuscript that actually started this very long journey. That's the point here, is that a lot of manuscripts are basically deteriorating. And so the big concern here is that Ken and a bunch of others have brought it to question to the Japanese government to form a party and all that in a group to basically open up a museum, so to speak, to preserve manuscripts. And basically the conversation went very well. And to clarify, one of the manuscripts that was shown to them was Ashita no Joe, which you can see right in here. Basically, they want to prove to the people that are a part of the meeting that there is a lot of historical works that are going to disappear if something is not done. Basically, in 5 years, maybe even a year from now, like every day, things are degrading, and it's slowly just going to be unreadable eventually if something is not done. And basically, you have industry veterans like even Hideaki.
I totally am 100% like with this. This is what we need: preservation of product. A lot of products need this. Gaming, especially manga. Oh man, especially manga and manuscripts. These are so needed. We see it in books. A lot of books have kind of a little bit been preserved, you know, but there's just so many. And I feel like people just need to start with the few, the biggest ones, and then it shall trickle down from there. That's what I feel like also anime needs to do. Start with the few that are the biggest ones and then trickle down from there. And then you can work your way to the small niched out categories. And then we can, you know, to achieve the goal of self-preservation.
Ano talking about the subject and being like, look, you know, we got to do something about this because obviously this is our history and
this is Japanese culture. That's what I love about these people, man. You Japanese people understand your culture and you respect it. Not like my country.
This kind of probably plays into some of the other issues that plagues Japan right now. You gotta realize that Japan is facing a lot of different issues within their society. One of the big issues is obviously their birthing crisis and their aging population. And, you know, as they continue to age and, you know, more and more, you know, of the elderly basically pass away, you know, there's going to be less people that really remember the beginning manuscripts of the anime and manga industry. You know, just what started it all, so to speak. The original storyboardings and all of that. So, obviously, they're taking it upon themselves before everybody is gone that can remember to try to preserve it for future generations. It's a very wonderful and selfless act that needs to be done, and I'm surprised, honestly, it hasn't really been done already because of just the significant importance of the manga industry itself and just how it is a very big part of just Japanese culture. Anime and manga is huge within Japan, and anyone that tries to deny that is lying to themselves. It's huge to just artwork in general around the world. It just, anime and manga has so much like reaching effects around the world. It's inspired hundreds upon hundreds of generations going forward. We will never.
I mean, when that when he's saying anime and manga is very huge around the world, he's not lying. You can, for example, I'm from South Africa. If you guys don't know, in South Africa, it's big. You get me? South Africa. You can imagine also corresponding countries like Zimbabwe, like Botswana. They also interested into anime and manga. There's a scene, believe it or not, you know. So it's a international thing. This has changed a lot of people's lives. It's changed my life, anime and manga, you know?
Never truly understand how impactful anime and manga is because it is just that wide of inspiration that has been inspired to so many people around the world. But the point I'm getting at is that I'm glad to see something like this done. This is very good news overall, and I'm glad to see that, you know, there is a lot of passionate people within Japan that really want to do right by all these offers. Because it's like, imagine 150 years from now, obviously most of us are not going to be around by then, but like, imagine 150 years from now, you know, there's a museum in Japan, and they have, like, all of the manuscripts of, like, One Piece in it. All the manuscripts of Naruto. That would be
so cool.
Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, you get the point.
Yeah, of course, the biggest ones, and then they shall trickle down to the smaller ones. That would be freaking cool. That would be like, dude, like that would literally like be, I don't know, it would be like an honor type of thing. It would have value in our lives, going to a museum or a place where they have dedicated manuscripts. That would be freaking cool, bro.
Imagine being able to go into a museum and seeing the catalog of all the manuscripts of all the works that
That would
was
be
done,
so amazing.
nice and like organized in this giant building, and being able to just actually see what these creators did and what started this journey, this legacy, these legendary stories from the very first time they were put on the page with ink. You would get to see that. That's what's so significant and important about this, and I love it, man. It's really good to see that there is some good stuff going on, and for the preservation of manga culture. Now, besides that, there is something I do want to talk about. It's a little
What's
bit off
that?
topic about this subject, but I have seen a lot of scrutiny about Hideaki Anno that is in these screenshots. Rambling does talk about this actually within this very post that he translated, and he basically goes on record to say that there is a lot of scrutiny and a lot of people that do not like, Hideaki Anno, and, some people call him a hypocrite, or some people like to say that he hates all otakus, different stuff like that. There is a lot of things that have come out about him since he's basically been in the anime and manga industry, mainly the anime industry, but obviously the entire topic around him could be a fully dedicated video itself because of just how significant he is, so to speak. But to give a brief rundown, basically, Hideaki Anno, he is someone that has created countless classics, and one in particular that everybody is going to recognize him for is obviously Neon Genesis, as you can see.
Why does people hate him? Jeez Louise. Like, okay, maybe some of the things he might have said over the years, but I mean, like maybe some of the things which he said might have been valid, Yeah.
Right here, but he also, which is very interesting, by the way, I want to point this out, he apparently does not like censorship. Now, obviously, the Pokemon censorship that happened a long time ago makes a lot of sense why it happened. I mean, there was literally people having seizures from, the colors and stuff. I mean, if you don't know anything about that, that's wild, but basically,
the flashes or how bright the screen is on anime, they had to kind of dim it down. That's why when you see fighting scenes where it's kind of a bit bright, they have to tone it down because of people were getting seizures and stuff.
it's very clear that he didn't like how he had to change works and stuff for censorship reasons, but regardless of his stance or how you feel about that or whatever,
that censorship is okay, not the censorship of now you have to completely change your whole story arc. I hate that.
That is a little fascinating tidbit. But getting into the point, one of the big things that draws a lot of scrutiny to him is this old article back in 2014.
What did he say?
Over 10 years old. This is a literally 10, almost 11-year-old article now, which is insane to think about, that 2014 is that long ago. But the point of the matter is that he voiced concerns about the anime industry a long time ago, and a lot of people within the industry has parroted his comments, talking about it. I probably have talked about it in the past. There's a lot of people that have discussed his stuff, but there's also a lot of people that have called him out on this, saying he's a hypocrite or whatever, distanced himself from him and his statements, different things like that. But it's very clear from his statements within, this meeting that he did for the preservation of manga, his overall opinions on the industry has changed a little bit, and I want to point that one out here. So in this right here, he actually straight up talks about it. So let's read this. He says the anime industry used to be said to be a black industry, or a black company, so to speak. But it has improved a lot now. I want the media to not only cover the bad things, but also the good things about the anime industry's economic situation.
That's true.
I think this is a very important line, because Hideaki Anno isn't necessarily saying that the industry is healed completely. He's not saying all the bad is gone, but he's also nodding to the fact that the industry is doing well as well. And
I agree with that statement. It is kind of like a black industry. When he means by that, probably it's a industry that's not recognized. It's probably underrated. And a lot of things have improved, and a lot of things are improving step by step. I get that.
Reason for that, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, honestly, really thinking about it, but the popularity of anime and manga has skyrocketed in just the last few years alone. I mean, anyone can see that to the increase of global sales around the world for anime and manga and viewership and all that. It's a no-brainer why a statement like this was made. I think anyone can see that. Merchandise sales are probably through the roof. Viewership of anime is probably through the roof. Readership of manga is probably through the roof. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It does. And I think that what he's talking about in terms of economic situation is that the cash flow or money flow within the industry is definitely at an all-time high. You have a lot of different companies in different countries investing into anime, trying to get a part of the anime and manga pie. It makes a lot of sense why the economic situation has definitely improved.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's a wrap up. He was talking about this guy, I can't say his name, but yeah, it's pretty interesting to see now that officials are now gathering to preserve the manuscripts. That is an amazing thing. We need that more, especially in manga and anime. A collective of groups, especially powerful people that are in politics, people that are in higher positions, where they can preserve normal Japanese culture, because it is their culture. As much as they can not disagree, or some people can feel away, it is their culture. And I feel like they should do by any means to preserve it, because there is a market for it. There is literally money for it. And as well, with what this man said, he is totally correct. I understand maybe some of the things he might have said is a bit controversial, but yeah, he's totally correct. I like this video from Chibi Reviews. Make sure you guys give him a like my video, like and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, and of course I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.